We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity.
We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. As if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy.
Silence! The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
You have meddled with the primal forces of nature.
Don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts.
With Jason Bermas.
And who loves you? And who do you love?
Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and I'm just asking questions. And we got a lot of questions to ask about how extremely dangerous these set of pardons that have been put into place by the Biden administration. I just want to really echo that, because just like Biden didn't run the operations that happened, you know, Joe Biden didn't know the people to pardon specifically in some cases. I mean, some of the crimes are so damn notorious, like the January 6th committee and the farce of an insurrection, that he may have been cognizant, but there's no way he could have run down everybody on that committee. Not happening, Jack. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real. Okay? On top of that, it happened at the very last moment. And as I was gearing up to do my interview for Making Sense of the Madness over at Patriot TV, and I was editing together my previous show that airs this evening, I was just thinking to myself how surreal everything was. And the fact that Donald Trump was going to be elected the president again, non-consecutively, and I think about how unlikely it was the first time. I think about the narrative shift and just the massive amounts of things that have occurred since that Trump presidency, from the COVID-19 84 nightmare and beyond. I saw that, and we'll get into some of this stuff via the inaugural ball that really disgusted me. And then before the inauguration is taking place, really as everything's rolling in, I'm kind of watching on the side and I've got everything set up for the broadcast. I read that Biden had actually gone through with the preemptive pardons of not only the January 6th committee, but Milley, okay, Fauci, oh boy, and a list of others. We're going to name everybody, but some of the names that you're going to know from the January 6th committee, and we're going to read specifically what they've been pardoned for. These are very short blanket pardons in some arenas, okay? But with the Biden family, it's specifically economic crimes. I mean, try telling us all that you're a crime cartel without telling us you're a crime cartel, right? But you got Raskin, you got Schiff, you got Kinzinger, you got Cheney. These people set up a completely false narrative of January 6th, top to bottom. There was no insurrection. There was never an intent at an insurrection, etc. and then destroyed evidence after the fact. I mean, one of the more absurd points, and actually Trump, to his credit, pointed this out, was the story that, like, Trump went to strangle a Secret Service officer. Like, what planet are we on? What planet are we on? So we've got 4 of the pardons up. We're going to read through them so people can specifically see. And Milley, I mean, he is the definition of a military-industrial complex puppet that is under the auspice of globalism at all costs and has committed massive treasonous acts against what would be our constitutional republics and our citizens' best interests. That's how he's rolled for a long time, period. Okay, he's not remorseful of it at all. So before we get into the full list, let's thumbs it up, subscribe, share. It's also weird that today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And the thing is that we've got to hold everybody accountable. I mean, we'll get into it, but look at some of these people at the inauguration. Conor McGregor, brutal, violent, serial rapist that no one seems to have a problem with. Like, just, oh yeah, come on along. I hope that the conservatives realize that they need to get better at that. Like, yeah, Andrew Tate's not a good guy either, okay? He's a bad guy, actually. All right, he pimped out young girls that were underage. You have to acknowledge that. I mean, he cammed a bunch of girls up, yes. But when he specifically talked about the age of some of these girls at the time, like 14, 15. That's a real thing. So we got to own up to these things. We also have to hold these people accountable. I mean, with the criminal investigations, I told everybody no one in the Biden family was going to jail, right? And none of these upper echelon people were going to jail. I'm still kind of like taken aback and in surreal shock, however, that these pardons exist. Cannot do it without you guys. The Buy Me a Coffee and other links are down below. $5, $10, $15. It means the world to me. We're going to do a broadcast soon where it's not just going to be like an Ask Me Anything. We're actually going to delve deep into asking Grok questions and artificial intelligence on the spot and kind of expose how gamed a lot of the narrative systems are utilizing AI, and I want the audience to be a part of that. So once again, we're back doing it independently. We also are on Patriot TV 5 days a week. Ken McCarthy, his conversation on a lot of this stuff. We discussed some of the pardons, but the Biden crime family had not been pardoned yet. They literally, again, stealthily pardoned 15 minutes before Trump gets sworn in. So, like, Biden was sitting down at that point when these things were apparently released to the public. Just wild times. Let's get into it. Also, give me a follow on X. Look, just like we used to on YouTube, I tell you to subscribe and ring the bell. We lose subscribers every single day. Every day. There is no gaining subscribers on YouTube. If I go on some show, maybe I get a flash bump, but then that gets taken away. X, it's not a free speech platform. Even though Donnie T said he's going to sign an executive order taking government out of censorship. We'll see about what happens. And the Zuck and Bezos all were at the inauguration with the Musker-Do. Okay? This is where we have been able to creep and crawl. And like I said, every week or so, maybe 2 weeks, we can get like 100 followers. Well, whoop-a-da-doo. We're doing what we can. All right, let's get into the stories, okay? So let's start with the full list. Let's read them off here. Now, this is before the family, all right? And we're going to also read the actual pardons, all right? So this has been amended since the last time I looked at it this morning with the Biden siblings and their spouses. I want to get into their pardons in a moment, but I think that more resolute is the January 6th committee. But you've got Gerald Lundergan, who's a former Kentucky state legislator convicted in 2019 of campaign finance charges. The White House wrote that he demonstrated remorse. All right. Let's get down to some of these. Leonard Peltier. Wow. Okay, that's new. Leonard Peltier. That's a whole nother video. That's a whole nother video. See, again, this has been amended. We're going to be focusing on Milley, Fauci, the January 6th committee. Where did that go? Here it is right here, the select committee. So Benny Thompson, Liz Cheney, Zoe Lofgren, Adam Schiff, Pete Aguilar, Stephanie Murphy, Jamie Raskin, Elaine Luria, and Adam Kinzinger. And let's read that, because I believe they're getting the clemency. All right? So think about this. It's a sham deal. A bunch of people, and Trump says he's going to expedite the process. He's calling them the January 6th hostages. I mean, Joe Biggs, decade plus. Enrique Tarrio, not even there. Decades. A couple decades. I think those names and others are going to be short order and out. And hopefully within 2 weeks, this whole nightmare is over. But again, there's no accountability. And we're ensured there's no accountability right here. To all of whom these presents shall come. Remember, this was the show trial of show trials, where they had a Hollywood producer try to sell it to the public on TV. Be it known that this day I, Joseph R. Biden Jr., President of the United States, pursuant to my powers under Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1 of the Constitution, have granted unto the members of Congress who served on the Select Committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol. And remember, the Republicans didn't even get to vote on who was there to try to make it balance. The whole thing was a show trial. And I'm not into the right-left politics, but it was crazy. All right? And the police officers from the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department or the U.S. Capitol who testified before the Select Committee. So remember, a lot of the law enforcement aspect, especially when you talk about the murder of Ashley Babbitt, not so great. They destroyed evidence. They've blanket pardoned these people, all right, for any offenses against the United States, which may have taken, may have committed or taken part in arising from in any manner related to the activities or subject matter of the Select Committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol. All right? So there it is. You're part of that criminal operation, you're A-OK. Now, let's talk Milley. Like I said, I mean, career New World Order minion, if you want to put it. It will bend the knee on the altar of globalism, authoritarianism, collectivism. This is the guy. For any offenses against the United States, including but not limited to any offenses under the United States Code or the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Commit treason against your country? No problem. No problemo. Which he may have committed or taken part in during the period of January 1st, 2014. Biden has loved this 2014 number. Through the date of this pardon, arising from or in any manner related to his service as the chief of staff of the U.S. Army or chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff. So once again, you're a high-ranking military member and you commit treason. No problemo, Buster Brown. Not a big... We got your back. How you like them apples? Okay? Let's get to the Faucherino. And before we get to the Faucherino, now I would argue his crimes could have gotten him much more, and this is being reported in the Daily Mail, more than 5 years in jail. Okay, there's a whole article right now talking about the Senate hearings, Francis Collins, Peter Daszak, his exchanges with Rand Paul, and whether or not he lied under oath, provably. Well, now, guess what? Guess what? Doesn't matter. Again, that number of 2014 is there yet again. Okay, so here it is right here. Let's see if we get a little zoomage in there. For any offenses against the United States which he may have committed or taken part of during the period of January 1st, 2014. See, this has to cover the Eco-Alliance stuff, right? Through the date of this pardon, arising from or in any manner related to his service as the director of National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, as a member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force or the White House COVID-19 response team, or as chief medical advisor to the president. So you committed anything there. No problem. It's a gravy train with biscuit wheels. Just wild. And then, as I said, I'm kind of taken back about Leonard Peltier. I don't know how I feel about that. That's a tough one. The left has wanted that one for a long, long time. So that's a really interesting one. But Biden pardons entire family 15 minutes before President Trump takes oath of office. Just wild sauce. Now, obviously, Biden knew he was going to pardon the rest of the family just in case, if he felt he needed to. Now, this is for nonviolent offenses. We're going to read this one right here. But it's down the line. James Sarah Valerie Biden Owens, John T. Owens, and Francis W. Biden for any nonviolent offenses against the United States which they may have committed or taken part in during the period of January 1st, 2014 through the date of this pardon. I don't know how you can be pardoned from a crime that you've never been charged with. This is a extremely dangerous precedent. It screams of corruption. It screams of guilt. At the same time, I do want to point this out. When I'm talking about the conservatives and the Republicans doing better, they got to scratch beyond the surface of all of it. Musk is another big part of that. The rebranding of Zuck is another big part of that. But again, they got McGregor. They're like fresh off a sexual assault guilty verdict, where if you paid attention to the evidence, it was nuts. It was an media cover-up top to bottom from the beginning of that internationally to right now, where no one's talking about it. And this is just somebody on the red carpet for Right Side Broadcasting Network just fawning over him.
Conor McGregor. You recognize him? That's a man who knows all about greatness. Him and President Trump have a lot in common. He pushes himself to the limit. And so does President Trump. These are men that demand excellence.
I mean, do you really want to be associated with that guy? There's already a bad perception with those that have TDS about Donald Trump and women. Okay? That's an actual brutal, violent serial rapist, okay, that has a substance abuse addiction on top of it. Yeah? That's who you want to associate with him? No, thank you. And look, I know the Zuckerberg rebrand is here. Everybody's talking about this, and this is funny. That's why we're going here, right? It's like, oh, little Zuckity-doo. Oh, first of all, Bezos's gal right there. Oh, see, that's just a little, they really freeze-framed it there. There it is again. Right? Just a little freeze frame on it. To me, that just makes the guy human. I mean, I'm not going to get into the Bezos girlfriend thing. There's talk that the Zuck may be getting divorced. Whatever. Again, on that level, I'm not trying to judge the guy. But he's a multi-billionaire that's been with his gal since at least college. I don't know whether he's faithful or not. If he's taking a Peekski and Hutch, again, that helps him for me in the rebrand. Doesn't mean I trust him or any of these people as far as I can throw them. Look, a lot of the Trump rhetoric was good. Hopefully we're moving towards peace. Putin discussed the Trump win and wants to open up communications. There's talk of restrictions on NATO. I'm going to quote MLK Jr. again. There comes a time when silence is betrayal. Now, a lot of people have spoken up on a lot of issues. They need to continue. They need to continue to do that throughout the administration to hold them accountable, to hold this system accountable. If we want to get any chance of a pushback and a drive or move towards that constitutional republic or a semblance of one that we have not had in some time. Folks, that is going to do it for me. Again, I cannot do it without you. $5, $10, $15, it means the world to me. Big donors, thank you so much. You keep us afloat over here. I do want to remind people, I am a documentary filmmaker. The films are Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture. They are free. They are extremely relevant to this day. I want you to watch them. I want you to share them. Guys, it's not about left or right. It's always about right and wrong. I absolutely love you, and we'll see you again on the flip side.